Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Sherry Zhang. I'm the Recruitment Manager for North Asia at Victoria Uni. Welcome to our International Agents Personal Development webinars. We're having 4 topics in 4 days, and today is the second day. We're going to talk about nutrition, exercise, and sleep. First of all, I'd like to quickly introduce you to our VU International Recruitment team. Jonathan, would you like to start?
Yeah, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Jonathan Pratt. I'm the Associate Director for International Student Recruitment at Victoria University. Really like to welcome you all to this second session, and I'd like to say a huge thank you to the team for organising this series of professional development opportunities for you. The turnout last night was phenomenal. We had over 140 people join us to learn about skincare, and we're looking forward to a good session tonight. So have a good session everyone and enjoy.
Thank you. And April, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I think these sessions, I want to give credits to all the recruitment manager as well, and then all the academics who put all the wonderful effort to put the event together, and then looking forward for this session as well. Thank you.
Jason?
Hi all, welcome back to day 2 of our Agent PD Week. I think you'll enjoy this session tonight, same as last night. Thank you for coming again.
Prashant?
Hi everyone, welcome to this wonderful session today. My name is Prashant Prasanna and I'm the Regional Recruitment Manager for South Asia at VU.
Hi everyone, my name is Wan, the Regional Recruitment Manager looking after onshore recruitment. It's really good to see a lot of you tonight. If you are like me, who put on a lot of weights during lockdown, let's work together tonight. Let's see if we can get rid of some weight, you know, so then we go back to work and then looking great as before.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
Thanks, Jerry.
And Sebastian?
Yeah, welcome everyone to the second webinar today here. My name is Sebastian. I'm the Regional Recruitment Manager for Pakistan, the Middle East, and Africa at VU.
And Ritu?
Hi everybody, I'm Ritu Sharma. Welcome to today's session, and I really hope you benefit out of it. I'm Regional Recruitment Advisor based in India.
Natasha?
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Natasha. I'm the in-country staff based in Malaysia.
Last but not least, Irene. Hi Irene, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, thank you for joining our session. My name is Ari Revantara. I'm an in-country manager for Indonesia. Thank you.
Great, thank you everyone. Okay, now let's look at who's in our panel tonight. So it's a great pleasure for us to have Professor Andrew McKinch. So Andrew is the head of program of medical science and also professor of nutrition at VU. Thank you, Andrew, for making it today for us. And we also have Ms. Jiali and Dr. Chu Jiao Kwang. So each of them will present one session tonight for us. Okay, over to you, Andrew. Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Where'd everything go? Right, so let me just share my screen. So hopefully everyone can see my presentation now. Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk briefly about food and nutrition and give hopefully do some interaction with the presentation as well. So we're going to give a little bit of background on general nutrition and then how that applies a little bit into sports side of things. There are many factors that affect our day-to-day food choices and why do we eat what we eat. Now what I'm going to do is hopefully allow a whiteboard share. And what I would like everyone to do is use the functions on the annotate if they can and write on the whiteboard what factors affect what you eat from day to day. So think about different things. So when you get up in the morning, what factors affect your food consumption? Oh. Think about in terms of different people, not only your own situation, but also others around you. You can click on the text button on annotate and it should allow you to just type something in. These things, when you try technology, are always fraught with danger. So
Hi, Andrew. Can we speak as well?
yes, I think. Throw it out there.
All right. So I think there are a lot of factors that affect, what we are going to eat the next morning, and that includes your sleep, and that includes how much of an anxiety and stress you had the other day, and what you ate the other day, how much, it all is interrelated to each other. There's just not as one single factor that can affect what we're going to have later and how the day is going to go. So there are so many things that are interrelated to each other, I would say.
Very much so. There's many different things. So we've got some, you can put it in the chat as well. So we've got taste, stress levels. Probably might be easier if I stop sharing because this whiteboard thing doesn't seem to be working real well. I'll just go back to, just close up and share my screen again. So we have, in terms of the chat, we've got sleep, stress, sugar, coffee, quality of sleep, cravings, fruit, cereal, toast. So they're good things to eat, but other factors that affect what you eat. So what you ate last night for dinner also affects, yes, many people have leftovers the next day. Some people look at calories and look at the energy that they're consuming each day and try and consider what they think is healthy for them to consume. Routine is also very important. And this is one of the things when we try and look at affecting dietary change in people. Trying to get someone to change their dietary patterns is very complex. And so think about it in terms of if you've ever moved house and you've had to go to a new shopping center to buy food. How frustrating it is walking into a new supermarket and not being able to find something. That it happens when you look to dietary change. Mood also, so some people, I can put up a little slogan, I eat chocolate when I'm stressed. Other people, when I'm happy, I eat chocolate. Other people just, I eat chocolate. So they're all different things. Good food, good mood, promotion. So when you're celebration, commercials, very much so. So we're influenced by everything around us. When we go into the supermarkets in different countries and different places, they will have different abilities, but they know where to put food, where to put items that they want people to purchase and which have the best margins and which companies are paying them the most to promote their foods. So if the product is put at eye level for the consumers, then they know that it's going to be purchased more. If they put it a little bit lower, then that's when you go into and where kids can reach and grab it and put it in the supermarket trolley for their parents. And then the parents have to argue with their children about getting it out of the supermarket trolley. They know when they put it in at where you go to check out, what lollies and treats are there while you're waiting. They know about that exposure, okay? How much we work also affects what we do. And I often see, once a person gets hungry, their likelihood of making a healthy food choice becomes lessened. So if you're running late from work and you haven't got a particular plan in place, you haven't got easy to make things in your fridge, or you're thinking that every night you have to cook a gourmet dish and you haven't got those quick and ready, easy to make foods in your cooking repertoire, then what are you going to do when you're tired and hungry? You're just going to call into the fast food outlet or purchase a ready-made food product and consume it. We also need to think, and thankfully someone's mentioned their festive seasons or celebrations. We can throw in there religion. Religion affects the vast majority of people around the world and what food they consume. So again, when we're thinking about dietary behavior and dietary change, we have to factor all that in. So it's a complex thing. And even within within the same city in a particular country, in different regions of that city, you may have access to different foods more readily than others. Okay, in poorer parts of the city, you'll have certain foods that are available, and in the more wealthier parts of the city, you'll have different other foods that are available, and ease of access. The density of fast food outlets and easy to purchase foods are different in the poorer versus the more wealthy regions. They all interact to all affect what we eat. So it's not just a simple thing sometimes of just making a simple change. And because it can get wrapped around this complexity. When we think about healthy eating, the simplest way is to think of it like a seesaw. Okay? If you eat more than you consume, you put on weight. If you consume less than you expend, you lose weight. And if you match it, you're in weight balance. So some are talking about the lockdown and being confined to your home with COVID. That impacts on our expenditure. So if you've got one of your phone apps that mention how many steps you do in a day and you have that in your pocket, and you may realize if you're working at home, do you know what? I've made 100 steps today. Whereas if you go to work, just without even trying, you may be up to 2,000. Just simply going from driving to walking to your car, driving, parking in the car park, walking to your office, moving in and around the office, and not even trying. So that all affects your energy expenditure. But there is some complexity in here in the fact that our body always wants to maintain weight. And it's a survival mechanism. We have evolved to be very efficient storers of energy and not wanting to lose weight because of the impact on survival when we were struggling as hunter-gatherers to grab food. Now we have food all around us. We can eat any time of the day we like. So what guidelines are there around the world? Well, in Australia, we have this healthy eating guidelines. This is a plate. So you'll see here that, we've got grains, grain foods. So you've got, your breads, cereals here. Then we've got vegetables and legumes. So you can see if you were to put all your food that you eat in a day on the one plate, then these two areas should make up the majority of your food intake. And then we have fruit, then we have your lean meats, and then dairy or dairy alternative, preferably low-fat dairy. So this is what should be making up most of what you eat in the day. And then you've got other only sometimes foods. So just eat those sparingly and then use small amounts of oils, hopefully healthier oils, so the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. So when you go shopping, think about what you put in your trolley or what you purchase at the local shops. Do you do the majority of your foods that you purchase fit within this plate scenario? And look at those around you and what you purchase. But this is Australian. What do we see around the world? Well, I just grabbed some, the guidelines from different countries, and those in different countries may be aware of different ones that I'm not aware of. Obviously, I could only access what I could grab in English. So what we have is, this is the Chinese version. So again, you see cereals down the bottom, vegetables, lean meats, milk. So similar types of scenarios, with most down the bottom should be making up the majority of your intake. Filipino, again, water down the bottom, rice, so you cereals, fruits and vegetables, milk, dairy, and then oils at the top. So again, these things should be making up most of your intake. So again, not a lot of variation, but different foods making up that are relevant to that particular country. Korean, you've again got grains, meats, vegetables, fruits, milk. So again, mostly similar types of things. Japanese have got a different way of showing the same thing with a spinning top. But again, these should make up the majority of what you eat in a day, the grainy dishes, the vegetables, then less little meats, some milk and some fruits. Okay, with your snacks and treats on the side here. Plenty of water throughout. But why is this the case? Why do we have this similar type of guidelines? Well, within these grains and whole grains foods, you get lots of fiber. They're high in carbohydrate. We need carbohydrate to keep our brain functioning at optimum levels. We need it to help us exercise. Fiber to help us keep regular when we go to the toilet, good for prevention of bowel cancer. We have fruits and vegetables. You see the colouring of the fruits and vegetables generally mean there's plenty of vitamins and minerals in these foods. So again, a variety of these are important to ensure that we're getting all our essential vitamins and minerals that we need. Then we have the lean meats. So again, we need protein in our diet. And we need calcium, and we need protein and carbohydrate found in dairy. So again, these make up, that's the reason why they make up this plate variety in our diet. In Australia, we have a much higher consumption of meats in our diet, but not a lot of lean meats, more higher fat meats, the sausages, the salamis, those types of things. So again, we can look at balancing this out a lot more, and people don't. Good. So we don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. So how does this all fit within a weight management strategy? Well, again, if we go back to this scales, okay, I'd like to give you just a little bit of an example that I talk to people about dietary change. We don't have to make huge changes to our diet to have a significant effect. All right, so I'll use an Australian version, and there's many different ways, but you notice in the pyramids, we didn't have all the plate versions, we didn't have a lot of fats, because if you have lean meats, low fat dairies, you're going to be getting some of the fats. Fat contains over twice the amount of energy per gram as carbohydrate and protein. So it's easier to overeat it. So I'll give you an example. If I have a breakfast cereal in the morning and I put full cream milk on my cereal, full cream milk is around 4% fat. A cup of cereal is 250 ml. So that's 10 grams of fat that I've just put on my cereal. If I change to having a reduced fat milk, which is around 1%, that changes to 2.5 grams of fat. Okay, or skinny milk changes to 0.25. All right, so keep that in mind. Then at lunch, I have cheese. I have 2 slices of cheese. Cheese is around 30 to 35% fat. A slice of cheese is around 20 to 25 grams, depending on that. So in 50 grams in those 2 slices of cheese, I will get around 15 grams of fat. If I change to a reduced fat slice of cheese, that could easily go down to 5 grams. So I've dropped 10 grams there just by changing my cheese of fat, and around 7 to 10 grams just changing the milk. Now I'm going to have my dinner. I have a beautiful salad. What types of things do I put on the salad? Oh, olive oil is great, isn't it? So I put a little drizzle of olive oil on. Olive oil is a healthy fat, so that is important to consume. But how much oil do we actually drizzle on? Well, a tablespoon, it's not much, particularly if it's for 2 people. Well, a tablespoon is 20 mils. So that's 20 grams of fat for 2 people. Okay, so that's 10 grams for 1. So what happens if I change to a vinaigrette type of dressing? No fat, very little energy, so a bit of balsamic vinegar. Just by making those 3 dietary changes, we got 10 grams consuming from the olive oil that I'm now not having. I've got 10 grams by changing my cheese. I've got maybe 7.5 to 10 grams just by changing my milk. Say it's 10 just for rounding up. That's 30 grams of fat per day. Now, 30 grams of fat doesn't seem like a lot just by making that change, but there's 37 kilojoules per gram. So just by making that, multiplying that up, that's 1,000 kilojoules per day, when an average female in their 30s may need around 8,000, 6,000, depending on body shape and size, kilojoules per day. So that could be 1/6 to 1/8 of their energy intake just by making those 3 small changes. Or if you think about it, 1,000 kilojoules is a reasonable sized snack. Just by making small changes, you can make a big difference. And if you think about that every day, if you make that change, what is the flow-on effect? The same in the lockdown is if all of a sudden, because you have access to food every day, you're going to the fridge more often. You're not regulating your intake. How quickly can that accumulate? 1,000 kilojoules in a day is not a lot, but over 2 weeks, over 2 months, over 6 months, that accumulates a lot, particularly coupled with a lack of exercise, which is why people may be finding after all these problems with COVID and limited movement, particularly in certain countries over others, maybe over 5 kilos difference in that short period of time. So that's just one quick example where we're looking at it, just to put a bit of a sports spin on it. When I talk to athletes, or when we talk to students about when their dealings with athletes, is an athlete will think about supplements as the key to their success. But most don't even eat a balanced diet. Unless you're eating a balanced, healthy diet, then the supplements aren't going to have any effect. In Australia, we spend millions and millions of dollars a year on supplements. You know, vitamins, minerals, protein shakes, all these types of things. For the vast majority of those vitamins and minerals, where do they go? We urinate them out and they go down the toilet because we're consuming in excess of them. Okay? A balanced diet is where the starting point is. Then we focus specifically on the sport and what the requirements are, and then the supplements are like the icing on the cake. And supplements themselves, even the most well-evidenced supplement, may only make a difference of 1 to 2% to performance. Yet consuming adequate water to aid training and recovery and performance may add 10 to 20% to your performance. Okay, so these are important considerations. Get the balance right. Then you can tweak things. People are often worried about what's in the latest magazine, what things, the latest fad, how I change things. Get the basics right. Get your variety right. Don't try and cook gourmet foods every night. Think about how you can make sustainable changes that are affordable, that fit within your constraints of how you live. Maybe that's cooking utensils, maybe that's work, maybe that's finances, whatever they are. Keep it balanced, make small sustainable changes, because having a healthy eating lifestyle is not something about having something in vogue for a month and then hating yourself for another month because you can't stick to it before you try something else. Sustainable changes throughout life is where we're looking at. Thank you for everyone's time. It's a very quick snapshot of nutrition. I'm not sure if there's any time for questions, but I'll hand it back to Sherry.
Thank you, Andrew. We have a few questions in the chat box. If you would like to answer, please.
One of the very first question is, what's the healthy calorie intake per day, Andrew?
Okay, it varies depending on the person's age, sex, weight. So it will vary depending on, so we work in kilojoules in Australia, but you know, you're looking at around 1,500 if you're talking about calories, 1,500 to 3,000 calories per day, depending on if you're sort of active, if you're male, if you're bigger. Because if you're taller, bigger, stronger, then it costs more energy to keep your muscles functioning. All right. If you're sitting down and sedentary all day and you have very low muscle mass, then it takes very little energy to maintain that body shape and structure. But an athlete may require 3 times the amount of energy as the sedentary individual because of the amount of activity that they do and the amount of energy they require to repair and adapt to the training that they're doing. So no straight answer on that, I'm afraid.
Yep. And the second question is, would you recommend taking protein shake after the workout?
Look, that's a difficult one without going into the individual situation. There's definite evidence to support the fact that protein and carbohydrate intake post a workout will help with aiding recovery and adaptation to that training. But for most people, they are generally consuming more than enough protein in their diet to get that recovery. So it's generally about energy in, energy out. So to get that adaptation, they need to ensure that they're eating more energy so that they can put on the muscle following the training. So they don't necessarily need more protein, they just need more energy. But what do most people do following a workout? If they're working out, they generally go home and eat. So as long as you're doing that within the next hour or two, then you're going to sit down and have a balanced meal that contains some protein, carbohydrate, and the like. Then you're probably going to get that requirement and that benefits from that protein you consume in the meal, rather than relying on a supplement, which can sometimes be very expensive. Okay, so but if you're struggling to get enough energy in, then a protein shake can be an easier protein carbohydrate mix rather than just protein, can be an easier way to get the energy in, particularly for some people who are struggling. And some athletes, you got to think about, some athletes will say the best thing they enjoy about retiring is they don't have to force themselves to eat as much anymore. It is a job to eat enough energy to train hard.
There's other questions in the chat, you know,
Okay.
like
What are more effective low carb, high protein or high fat diets like ketogenic? Do you support these fad diets? For most people, there's been many studies. The main thing with regards to dietary macronutrient alteration is there's different benefits and disadvantages of them. What most studies show, though, is if a person sticks to a particular diet, then they are better off at maintaining their weight loss and maintaining a long-term health rather than cycling in and out of a particular diet. So that's the main thing, finding a eating pattern that you're happy with and that you find sustainable. Now, there are some downsides with regards to high protein, high fat diets. High protein, particularly if you've got any kidney dysfunction or anything like that, is definitely not advisable. And there's not enough research into the long-term effects, so 10 years, 20 years of a higher protein diet. And high fat, again, it depends on the type of fat you're consuming. Saturated fat is associated, particular types of saturated fat is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. But again, if you're losing weight, then potentially you're offsetting that increased risk. But again, not all fats are the same, not all carbohydrates are the same. You have are you going to rely on a soft drink, or are you going to get your carbohydrates from your whole grain breads and cereals? They're all different. So it is that complexity within that. And I generally encourage people to go back to the healthy eating guidelines within your country and use that as the foundation piece, and then work out what is actually going to work for you in your particular situation. How much does walking help with weight loss? Well, it really does depend on how much walking you do. And this is the thing, any exercise, no matter what it is better than none. All right. So, and all of us, particularly in Melbourne, who have been in lockdown for over 100 days and been stuck in their homes and barely able to leave anywhere, anything's better than nothing. So choose what it is that you can do, choose what you like doing, and continue with it. And, look to improvements in fitness. If you're younger, look at maybe going for a jog, working your fitness level. I've worked with 70-year-olds who go from walking back to jogging and running again, through that adaptation, through pushing themselves and improving their fitness.
Thank you, Andrew.
I think we're out of time.
Yeah, I'm conscious of time, so perhaps we just stop here because we have another 2 sessions to go if we don't mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Natasha. Now let's move on to the next session. So let's welcome Ms. Jia Li. So Ms. Li is VU PhD student, and she is also the qualified personal trainer and yoga instructor. We all know that under pandemic, gym exercise might be limited in some countries and some regions. So Jia will show us some demo exercise that we can easily do in a home or in an office environment. So I hope you all are in something comfortable and have your bath towel ready, and let her to show you the demo exercise.
I am Jali. I'm doing a PhD class in the Institute for Sports and Health. So today I'm very glad to show you how to use some household items to do exercise at home. As you know, a lot of people has few time to do exercise regularly, especially for this time. As you know, Melbourne has been locked down for a long time. So for the people who like to do exercise in gym or studio, that should be a very hard time. So today I'm going to show you how to do exercise at home. We have a lot of smart way. I hope you have a towel, even just a kitchen towel should be fine. And also, please just prepare a chair. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to use towel to engage your power. So with the towel, we can just engage the power and fix the distance between your hands. Now let's just hold the ends of the towel and pull your towel very tight. Could you feel that? So now you may feel like the distance has been fixed. You can't move anymore. And straighten your spine. Try to lean forward. Now your back muscle has been engaged. That's a very important thing for you because normally we just sit like this, you know, this is your sitting position and you always sit like this at your back and squeeze your belly and do some computer work. So this is not good for your spine. Okay, let's come back to this position. Lean forward and hold your tower, engage your core power. So when you're ready, let's come back. Again, lean forward, try that. Did you feel that? This is 45 degree. Yeah. And come back. Let's just repeat it. And inhale, extend your spine. Exhale down. Again, inhale up. Exhale down. And don't forget, put your thighs together. That's very important. Squeeze your inner thighs into the center line. So that will help you to make your core power engaged. Keep going. I feel very warm on my back. I hope you can feel the same. So now 3, 3, and 2. And last one, stay here and hold for 3 breaths. You may feel a lot on your back. And this is the second step. I'm gonna move side to side. Never arch your back. I hope you can extend your spine as much as you can and move side to side very gently. And just you feel a lot on your upper back, especially on your upper back. Yeah, keep going. Let's do 3 rounds more. And 2. And last breath. Okay, come back to the center. Now release your arms. Put the towel up behind you. And just round your back, have a stretch. That's a beautiful stretch on your back. I'm almost ready. Okay, so for the second step, I'm going to show you how to use the towel to stretch your shoulders. You know, we always have some pressure on the shoulders, right? For a lot of people, this is a very hard stretch. If I ask you to hold your hands behind your back like this, I think few people can do that. But with this, it's very easy to do it. So first of all, if we like to do the exercise, the stretch like this, that means we have to roll our shoulder out and roll this shoulder joint in. So this is what I'm doing. I'll sit like this and straighten my right arm. Now I'm going to hold the ends of the towel. So first of all, I'd like to pull this towel like a 45-degree angle. And this is my elbow. I'm going to put my elbow in the center line. Look what I'm doing. Let's go. I feel a lot on my right shoulder, but also it made me feel good. Let's sit here for 3 breaths. If you want to do more, maybe you like to lean to left side. Yeah. Feel good? 3, 2, and last breath. Okay, let's come back to the center. Have a look. I'm going to shorten the distance between my hands. Just do as much as you can. You may just hold the towel like this, or I can touch it. Okay, stay here. Now, we're gonna move your head to left side. When you do this stretch, you may feel a lot on right side. This is a good self-massage. Stay here and pull your elbow up and keep your armpit open. Just relax your head. Have a rest here. Stay here for 3 breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Now let's come back to the center. Hold, hold. Let me show you what will happen. So this is my left hand. I didn't do any work on my left hand, so my left arm is natural. See what happened? Oh, that's a miracle. Could you see that? My right arm is much, much longer. Can you see that? I hope you feel the same. So that shows us what will happen after you stretch. So stretch is very important. So you should do it. You should do flexible stretch, improve your flexibility every day. Okay, I have to do the other side because we hope we have a balance on our body. Now, left arm up, go like this. And hold the end of, I'll show you like this, hold the end of the towel and soften your arm, bend your elbow and pull the end of this towel. Stay here for 3 breaths. You may like to sit. 3, 2, and last 1. Now you can just short the distance between both of your hands. See how far is between your hands. Stay here for 3 breaths. If you like, move your head to right side and also pull your elbow up. Now you may sink down your ribs because I don't want you to just squeeze your lower back. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let's come back, have a rest. I hope you feel better on your shoulders. Now, I'm going to show you how to use this chair. This is my favorite. With chair, we can do a lot of exercise. We even can do some cardio exercise. Just think about people who hurt their ankles or maybe hurt the knees. For them, it's very hard to do some intense exercise. But with a chair, we can do it. Let's just sit down and straighten your spine and make sure your core power get involved. So when you're ready, put your hands on the chair and a little bit push so you may feel something here. We're gonna do some cardio exercise now. Jumping jack. See? When you're ready, let's arms up. Yeah, up. Yeah, try this. It's interesting, isn't it? If you want very higher heartbeat, let's speed up. Go, go, up, down, go. Speed up. You can do it. Come on. You can repeat this for 1 minute. 4, 3, and 2. Last 1. Stay here and let's go jogging. Go jogging. Go, 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 go. Go. And up. And down. Up. And up. And down. Let's go jogging. And up. And down. You can do more if you like. Let's just repeat 2 times. Go up, 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 up. And last 1. Ooh. Now I'm going to show a very intense exercise. And separate both of your legs. Let's jump high. Can you do that? Whew. It's hard, I know. Keep going. I hope this is a really exercise for you. Let's go now to 4. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, come back. I feel very hot. So we also can do some exercise, strength exercise with the chair. I'm going to show you. If you don't have time to do some work on your abs, you also can just do something in quick exercise in your office. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to engage your abs. Have a look. Maybe this way is better. Okay, I'll just sit here and put my hand on the ground to support myself like this. And legs up. Could you please straighten up? Try this. And you will feel something here on your abs, right? Now I go, sit up and hold the chair. And down. Try this. And up. And down. And up. And down. Normally, I like to repeat this exercise for 10 times. Sometimes 15, it depends. Let's just repeat 2 times. I hope you can feel something here. Okay, yeah. So these exercises can help you shape your abs. So for the last step, I'm going to show you how to do some stretch with the chair. Because especially for the people who always do some computer work, if you keep a sitting position for a long time, think about this area. We call this hip flexor. If you always sit like this, that means you have to squeeze your hip flexor all the time. So you're going to round your back, and your belly will be very loosened and become bigger and bigger, unfortunately. We all hate that. And it's very hard to open your heart again. So we're going to fix this part. I'm going to show you something. So this is a chair. I'll move my body toward left side. Just 45 degrees should be fine. And straighten my left leg. This is a lunge, a big lunge, right? I'm gonna form my shin and my side for right ankle and stretch this part and straighten my spine. Could you feel something here? This is what I want to show you. We're gonna release the pressure on this part. If you like to do more, raise up your arm. Stay here for 3 breaths. 3, 2, and 1. Also, you can just soften your left arm, lean to your left side. Now we will feel more on this part. 3, 2, and last 1. Come back, change side. So move your body just toward 45 degrees and straighten your left leg. Only put your right bottom on the chair and stay here. Feel the stretch on your hip flexor. If you want to do more, reach up and heart open. Say hello to the ceiling. So you will lift up your chin, feel the stretch down your neck as well. So when you really lean to left side, let's stretch more. 3, 2, and 1. Come back. Okay, now that's the stretch. You also can do this in the office. So put both of your hands on the chair and separate both of your feet as wide as your pelvis. So when you really lift up and both of your hands press down, roll your shoulders out and back and lift up your chest and down. So when you sit down, soften your spine, just relax. Arch your back. This is a very good back forward fold, right? Inhale up and do it again. Back bend. And sit down. Forward fold. Last one. Inhale up and pelvis up, chest up. Exhale down. Just relax. Inhale, roll up. Okay, you get it. Let's just get through the whole press. We use the tower. Where's my tower? We use the tower to engage your core power, right? We did some exercise on your upper back and also the muscle around your spine. And secondly, we use the chair. I showed everyone how to do strength exercise, stretch exercise, also some cardio with the chair. So no any excuse to avoid exercise. So I hope everyone just stay safe and well-being. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Okay, so thanks for your time. Good evening from Melbourne and maybe good morning, good day for the rest of the world. So today I'm going to share some of the research we've done at Victoria University. It's a really nice study that done by our talented PhD student, Nicholas Senna. So Andrew has talked about the food and Jai has talked about the how to exercise. So one last important missing link is sleep. You have to sleep well to be healthy. So let's see if I can convince you how important exercise is. If you can't get enough sleep, can we fix with exercise? So this is one of the very recent guidelines that published. So this is for the adults, so 18 to 64-year-old. First of all, you have to do enough physical activity. So about 150 minutes per week for moderate to high intensity exercise, and also recommended you to do some muscle strengthening, like the weight training, or include several hours of light physical activity, even like standing. And then try to reduce the sedentary behavior. So sitting down, less sitting down. So if you have to sit down to do some computer work, maybe every hour or so, do 5 minutes of the stretch Jia just showed you, or just take a walk, get some water, as Andrew recommended, get plenty of water. So just do something. Try not to sit down for too long. So if you are watching TV, maybe try to stand up and do something while you're watching. And the last part is sleep. It's recommended to get about 7 to 9 hours of good quality of sleep on a regular basis. And that's one of the very important parts. So a lot of people suffer from sleep loss. So a lot of us not getting enough sleep. So in Australia alone, that's one of the research did in sleep in 2017. So this is the data from this. Sorry from to the, interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't see your screen. Like we can't see your face, but we can't see your screen.
Really? Okay, I was looking at my screen. Yeah. Did I share my screen? Yeah. Is this better? Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so this is the guideline I was talking about. So getting enough sleep is quite important.
So try to get 7 to 9 hours for a 24-hour day. And sleep loss. If you think you don't get enough sleep, you are not alone. Like I don't get enough sleep a lot of times. There could be a lot of like family duty, or could be work, or could be some stress you're suffering that stop you from getting a nice sleep. And just in Australia alone, that's some data from 2017, about 40% of the Australians, their experience of inadequate sleep. So that's about 7 million people. So that's actually quite a lot of people not getting enough sleep. And you may think sleep just if I don't get enough sleep, that's going to make me a bit tired or a bit grumpy or not enjoy things I used to do. But it's actually worse than that. Sleep loss, they can actually increase the risk of many serious diseases, mostly chronic disease, such as type 2 diabetes. We all know type 2 diabetes is one of the very common disease in developed country. And most of the people will think, okay, you could have like a overweight, or maybe some of your family member might have the diabetes. That's going to increase your risk of getting diabetes, but it's actually more complicated than that. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you are going to increase the risk of getting type 2 diabetes as well. So if you sleep for 6 hours, as you can see here, it's going to reduce the risk compared to if you only sleep for 5 hours or less, and also physical inactivity. So if you don't have enough physical activity during a day, that could increase your risk of getting type 2 diabetes as well. And that's one of the reasons is because the sleep loss that could reduce the insulin sensitivity. So what is that? What is the reduced insulin sensitivity? That means our cells in the body, they do not absorb the glucose as much as they do. So you will see a higher level of the sugar in your blood. And if that condition without management, and if you keep getting this condition, this can progress to type 2 diabetes. So if you start to have a reduced insulin sensitivity, and if you don't manage it, then it's very likely it's going to progress to type 2 diabetes. And from the research before, only 5 nights of sleep restriction, not even a week, that's going to reduce our whole body insulin sensitivity by 25%. So you don't have to be not sleeping for months. It's only 5 days. It's only 5 nights that could reduce 1/4 of your insulin sensitivity. So now I'm going to show you another piece of evidence, which is conducted in Victoria University. So we actually have a facility in our university. It's like a little hotel, or more like a hostel in the university. So we have a few rooms with the bed, and also a common living area. We also have a kitchen and toilet and shower. So basically we can invite the participant to come in to our university, and they can stay there for a few days so we can monitor their sleep pattern and exercise. So this facility is quite nice in a way that to do sleep and also some other studies. So we can also change the oxygen concentration in there. So it can become like an altitude hotel. So anyway, for the sleep study, we invite 24 recreational active males. So they are not as fit as the athletes, but they are also not sedentary people. So they are just like us. We do some exercise, but not that much. And also we try to avoid like people like shift worker, or someone already have a sleep problem, or someone already have a reduced insulin sensitivity. So we just try to see what sleep loss is going to do to normal people just like us. And for that 24 people, of course, they don't come in at the same time. So once they come into our hotel, we assign them to one of the group. So the first group is they just sleep normally. They're like, they don't do anything, they just sleep as what they normally do. But for the other 2 groups, one is we try to restrict their sleep. Then the last group is we restrict their sleep, but we try to get them to do some exercise. So they come in for 2 nights just to sleep normally for 8 hours per day, just to get used to it. Then for the other 2 groups, the sleep restriction and the sleep restriction plus exercise, they only sleep for 4 hours per night. So that's pretty bad. Like you can't really function that well with 4 hours. So one group, they just sleep 4 hours per night. But for the last group, during the day, we try to get them to do, so within that 5 days, we try to get them to do only three sessions of exercise, but the exercise is a bit harder than what Jia just showed you. So they have to cycle really hard for 60 seconds. Then we let them rest for 75 seconds. Then they keep going that for 10 times. This is one of the very popular type of exercise now called high intensity interval exercise. So if anyone goes to gym, they should have heard of this before. And also before and after the sleep restriction, we try to do some tests on them. So the first one we do is we actually take some, this is just to show you how much sleep restriction they have done. So for the normal sleep group, they just sleep normally. But for the other two groups, they only sleep for around 4 hours compared to their normal 7.5 hours sleep. So they definitely not getting enough sleep. And the first one we did was by taking some skeletal muscles from their leg. Today, I'm not going to talk about any data of that, but I always get this question is, how do you guys actually take muscle biopsy? So this is just a small video. This is one of our participants. He just had some exercise. Then Andrew, who's a medical doctor, he's a professional medical doctor, and who's very experienced of doing this. This is just like normal biopsy needle. Like you have to take some biopsy for medical reasons. So with a few twitches, we're gonna get about 100 milligrams of your muscle sample and for analysis. So it's not painful, it just looks a bit uncomfortable. But most of our participants, they were really nice. They allowed us to do that. But the little test I'm gonna talk about today is actually the oral glucose tolerance test. Some of you might have done that, some might not. So that's the one you have to fast overnight. Then in the morning, we are going to take like one fasting blood sample, and then we get you to drink 1 cup of very, very sweet water that contains 75 grams of glucose. If anyone have done this, they will remember how awfully sweet that water is. Then we're going to take your blood sample for the next 2 hours. So we're going to take it for about every half an hour. Then we're going to measure the glucose level in your blood. So what we want to see for this oral glucose tolerance test is we want to see your blood glucose level goes up, but slowly coming down as the time goes. If your glucose level stays high for extended period of time, then that just shows, it could show like a potential, you might have diabetes or you are progress towards diabetes. So we don't really want to see that. We want to see a nice going up as you drink the glucose water, then start to coming down. So that's what we see with the normal sleep. So people, they only come in and sleep for 5 nights. You can say that they have a more glucose in their blood after they drink the water, but then they start to coming down. So that's really what we want to see in a healthy participant. And now you can see how exercise is messed up with our body. The sleep loss is messed up with our body. Even with 5 nights of sleep restriction, your body is not absorb glucose as good as before. So your body is not really respond to the way it's supposed to be. So the blue one is before they did the sleep restriction, and the red one is after. So you can see how when it comes in, they're all very normal, but after 5 nights of not sleeping well, this is what you got in your body. And that's how exercise is trying to reverse the effect. So you can see the blue one is still normal. That's before they start the experiment. Then after the sleep restriction plus the exercise, we still see the glucose concentration, glucose level in your blood. It's not as nice as a blue, but it's definitely much better than the previous one, which is you're only doing the sleep restriction. So exercise is trying to fix it. So sleep loss is doing something bad to your body, and the exercise is trying very hard to rescue it. And just remember, it's only 5 nights of sleep restriction and only with 3 exercise sessions. So it's actually doing a lot. So hopefully I can convince you with the following take-home message. Sleep loss is bad. It actually reduces your whole body insulin sensitivity and make you more risky to get type 2 diabetes. And only having 3 sessions of exercise could prevent this reduction in insulin sensitivity that caused by sleep loss. And the last one is sleep and exercise. They are both very important for a healthy lifestyle. And exercise should be considered as a useful and a cost-effective strategy to improve some of the negative effects of sleep loss, because mostly people will think we should take some sleeping medication, like medication sleeping pills. But a lot of studies have shown that taking those medications, they does not really increase your total sleeping hour, and it comes with a lot of side effects. So exercise is definitely more useful, cheaper, more cost effective, and it's safe. And the last bit of my talk is I want to give you some advice on how exercise is going to improve the sleep quality. And you can find more of those information on the Sleep Foundation website. So how can actually exercise help with sleep? That's because when you exercise, your body temperature is going to raise. Then slowly it's going to fall during the day. Just that raise and fall cycle is going to make you a bit tired and drowsy towards the end of the day, which will help you to fall asleep. And also, if you can, try to do some exercise outside. The natural light is great. It helps your body to regulate your biological clock. So your body knows this is the day I should be doing work, and now it's getting dark, it's late, I should sleep. The timing is quite important. So it's recommended if you can do some exercise in the morning or early afternoon, because it will give you body enough time to respond to the temperature change. So if you raise in the morning, then takes the time to fall, then by the time the temperature go back to normal, then it's like evening, you should be able to sleep. And also there are a lot of hormones it's going to secrete during exercise. So those stimulation from workout may make you too excited and keep you awake. So if you do exercise too late in the evening, like right before sleep, you might get too excited and that might keep you awake. And the last bit is how much exercise you should do. It's the same recommendation as my first slide as a healthy 24 hours day. You should do 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise every week. A lot of people will say that's a lot. But the good news is any physical activity will help. So if you think doing like one of the HIIT I was talking about is too hard, I couldn't really run for an hour, but you can actually do 10 minutes of the walk outside, and you can actually do 20 minutes of yoga, or even just 10 minutes of the stretch Jia was showing you. Anything that will help. And also pick something you like. Don't force yourself to do something you hate. Try to pick an exercise you really like, then you can stick to it. Then that will become part of your healthy lifestyle. So that's the end of my talk, and thanks for your time. I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you so much. We do have a few questions coming up in the chat box.
Sure.
So the first question is that afternoon naps, would that help in any way? So if people get afternoon naps?
After naps, I think it's more like a lifestyle choice. Some people, and it's especially for different region of the world, some culture always had a after nap. Like I grew up in China, we do after nap all the time. So I think that fits in their lifestyle really well if you get used to it. But like in Australia, we don't really nap. We normally just have a light lunch. Some people do a bit exercise and just keep working, but then they get home, they can get a nice long, like 8-9 hours sleep. So I think it's really a lifestyle choice. If you feel like your afternoon nap is making you too excited to fall asleep in the evening, maybe cut it short. Or yeah, I think it's just as long as you have a good pattern, that will work.
Yeah. And the next question, is it good to sleep in the afternoon to cover up for 8 hours of sleep?
I think if you can always get good sleep in the afternoon, and that's not going to have an impact for your evening, like your actual sleep, that's fine, because the 24 hours recommendation is 7 to 9 hours in total. It can be combined. If you want to sleep 2 hours in the afternoon, you can still get a nice 6-7 hours in the evening, and you have the time and the opportunity to do so, then why not?
Okay. And what is the optimal type of exercise for promoting good sleep?
I would say if you want to get a good exercise, then you might want to do something and also as recommended for the healthy 24 hours physical activity, maybe do something at a slightly higher intensity. So do maybe one of those like half an hour or 45 minutes little gym class. It can be your weight training, can be the cardio
can be the high intensity interval I was talking about. Then you get yourself a bit tired, and also a good raise of the body temperature. Then by the evening, you will get quite burned out and quite tired. So that might help you to sleep. Like just like the kids had a big day, they always sleep really well. But if you want to do it later in the afternoon, I would think maybe like a yoga or Pilates, something not to really stimulate your neurons too much. So don't get too excited if you are doing something a bit later.
Yeah. And another question, will afternoon nap actually helps a better sleep at night? So taking a nap in the afternoon would help in the night?
I think it's really an individual thing, like what you are using to. Like if you used to after nap, then make you not to take it, you'll get really tired. Maybe that will affect your actual sleep. But if someone who never take a nap, then if you force someone to take a nap in the afternoon, then maybe they'll get too excited in the evening to actually sleep. So it's really your lifestyle, just something you try to stick to it like on a regular basis. So that's why I said for our study, we don't want to include the shift workers because they have too many changes in their biological clock. They can continue work for 12 hours and sleep for another 10 hours, day and night. That's actually not very good for your whole body system because the biological clock, it can get a bit messed up, then you don't get a very good quality of sleep. So try to stick to a pattern if you can.
Sorry, I just need to unmute myself.
That's fine.
So there's another question. Does lack of sleep make you obese?
I would think it might because of the disturbing of the metabolic system. So you could actually have a so your body is not responds to insulin as good as before, and that reduced insulin sensitivity, then slowly progression to the type 2 diabetes. It could actually make you gain more like fat and lose more muscle. So you might get obese. So it's all linked. It's very important to get good sleep to keep you fit.
All right, thank you so much.
Right.
I think that's all about the questions. Sorry, just one more came in. So we just take it to the last question because of the time. So some old people said it's healthy if we sleep early and get up early. So does that really matter for our health?
I mean, so I'm not a morning person, but I would say, again, you don't want to sleep like in the midnight, then wake up at like lunchtime. That's definitely not recommended. But again, if you like to sleep a little bit later, so rather than 10 o'clock, I like to sleep 11 or 12, but then I can get a good 8-hour sleep, and I can afford to wake up at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and that's your pattern. You've been doing that for a while, then that's fine. I think it's just a total time that you sleep and also the quality of the time. So sometimes you can feel that if you really can go into that deep sleep, you wake up really nice and fresh. I think it's actual duration and also the quality of the sleep that really matters. And that's why we recommended exercise to help you to fall asleep easier and also to get a better quality of the sleep. And if you really can't get enough sleep, exercise is going to fix some of the negative effect of that. So there's really a gain-gain situation. Just do exercise.
Well, I do see a couple of more questions coming. Do you mind answer them? Or?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. So the second last question: how important is a good pillow and mattress to support sleep?
I don't do any biomechanics studies, so I don't know like in a lab setting how good that's going to help. But I would say, of course, yes, get a good pillow, get a good mattress, anything that helps you to fall asleep easily, and also to give you a better quality of the sleep time. That's all works. So if you like whatever setting that. Yeah, I think it's just whatever setting that help you to get a good quality of sleep, that will help.
All right, sorry, one last question.
Yeah.
Does room temperature actually affect sleeping pattern?
I don't have any scientific evidence to back me up, but I'll say yes, like the good temperature and also the humidity, that will really help you to to sleep more comfortable so that you won't be waking up just because of the environment was uncomfortable, I guess. And also maybe in a dark room, that will really help as well. So try to avoid the light and stuff like that.
Very much. And thank you to Jia and to Dr. Huang, who helped to present tonight. Thank you all, and wish you all a lovely night. And I'll see you tomorrow in our cybersecurity session. Thank you.